Hi, FlossTube Stitchers. Remember me, Shelly from Just Stitching. I'm standing in my shop, which is in Strongsville, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland. And this is my first video for 2022. Not exactly planned this way. I did not mean to take this long of a hiatus. I'm not going to go into all the gory details because many of you individually have heard the story. But I started off the year by breaking my elbow. So not as bad as some people's stories. It could have been so much worse. I'm so aware of that. I literally just broke the very tip off of my elbow. I didn't even know anything was broken. It didn't even hurt. I just had no strength in it. So what happened was the morning of January 3rd, I was walking my dogs. It was like 25 degrees and I decided to turn around and not go the full mile because it was so cold for the dogs. And I was crossing the street. Probably should have just turned around and stayed on the sidewalk because I kind of knew how to handle the sidewalk, but the street did not look messy at all. That's why they call it black ice, because you can't see it. And I lost my balance and couldn't right myself. And my forehead hit a concrete curb. And my arms went straight out this way like Superman. I kept holding on to the leashes. I did not lose my dogs. They were not misbehaving. They were doing nothing wrong. They didn't panic. But I didn't even know I had broken my elbow. I was more worried about all the blood coming from my forehead. So I learned, and I think I remember hearing before, that head wounds bleed a lot. And I screamed and a neighbor came out and she took my dogs and called 911. And it was when these two Amazon Prime drivers stopped to see if they could help. And I wasn't really out in the street. I was kind of by the, by the curb, by the sidewalk. So I wasn't really in the way, but they wanted to get me out of the street and they asked if I could sit up on the curb. And I went to put my arm down to help myself get into a sitting position, and I realized I had absolutely no strength in my arm. And I knew something was wrong, but again, it didn't hurt, so I didn't know. So it could have been worse. It totally could have been worse. It's called a closed fracture, so there was no gory bone sticking out or anything like that. It was all inside. So the neighbor, who I had never met before, still haven't officially met. I think I remember her name, but I don't know what she looks like because I couldn't see her. She walked my dogs home and spent the rest of the day in the emergency room and really was out of commission for a while. I wasn't stitching. It was kind of depressing. My part-time job was like icing my arm, 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. And anything I tried to do with just my left hand was so frustrating that it really was just easier to, read and binge watch TV and that sort of thing, rather than trying to do something that was only gonna frustrate me more. Then when the shop reopened, I felt like I was so far behind in regular shop duties like paperwork, and I needed to drum up some business because I had been closed for a month, that even though maybe I was a little bit more physically able to do a video, I didn't feel like I really should spend the time doing that. So, and then family things got in the way. We were getting our parents' house ready to go on the market. So it is right now. There's an open house this weekend. And just back and forth with that sort of thing kept me busy during the off hours, what little I could help with. And I wasn't ready until right now. So I guess it is what it is. So several people had suggested that maybe I try stitching with my left hand. And maybe if I had put my project in a Q-snap, I could have rested it somehow with my right and stitched with my left, but I don't know. The thought of it just didn't appeal to me. I didn't want to be frustrated. I didn't want it to not be fun. So when I was ready, I think it was in April, maybe the end of April, when I was ready, I picked up a project that I had started in December. And It was Gingerbread Street by Little House Needlework. So I picked this back up. I think this is Ale from Picture This Plus, 32 count. Let's see if I can manage this. So there, if you can see the whole pattern, and then I was pretty far along. I think when I picked it back up again, I was really just doing some of the white, filling in the white around the house and that sort of thing. And it wasn't really fun. I mean, it felt good to stitch again, but there was something off about my rhythm. And at the end of the evening, I thought, you know what? I should try a different count fabric. So I put it aside, as you do with whips, and I decided to start a new project. Yes, you can give yourself permission to do anything you want. There's no rules. So I gave myself permission to start a new project on 25 count so that I could at least feel like myself again, feel like I was progressing on getting a model done for the shop, that sort of thing. So I used 25 count pewter Lugana, and I started Happy Independence Day by Primrose Cottage Stitches, which was a fairly new chart at the time. And they used 25 count mushroom, and I decided to use pewter, and I did actually end up finishing this recently. So let's make sure you get a good view of the fabric. Pewter is such a pretty color. There's just a little bit of blue to the gray. And the original pattern had a, let's see, is it wood colored or gold? The star on the blue candle. And in the chart they say what it is. But because I did mine on blue, I decided I wanted to put a silver star. So this is actually a charm that we had here at the shop. And so I just put that on today. All right, so when I was done with that, I thought, yay, 25 count is my hero. 25 count is my friend. So I started another project, and I actually started this. I wasn't quite through with Happy Independence Day, but you know how it is. You just want to start something new. And so I started, maybe this had just come in. Anyway, Bumblebee In. It's on black. I don't have any problem with black, but we had just in February gotten a backsplash in our kitchen, and it's kind of a denim blue color herringbone pattern. And so I thought, Bumblebee Inn sounds like a bed and breakfast, kitchen, it kind of goes in there. And so I picked blue. So this is medium blue 25 count Lugana. And I worked on this, I think just 3 evenings. And this is what I got done so far. And I really like it on this color. I tried to work all the white first and then add the accents, because I feel like there's less issues when you put all the white in first. And the green is going to be fine. I'm a little worried. I know you can't tell in this picture, but there's a turquoise color in there. And I'm a little bit concerned about the turquoise, so I'm saving it completely for last. And then I'm just going to try one little, I guess it's a flower. I'm just going to try one little flower, see if I like it. And if I don't, there's probably lots of colors I could change it to, including pink if I wanted to. So I'll just see how that goes. So there's a lot of flowers yet, and then I have to do the 2, I guess, post. I guess it's like a sign, so they're signposts. And so there's quite a bit more white to do. Maybe 3 more evenings, and I could get this done. But you know how it is. I had to start something else too. I mean, I was making progress. And I sold the last piece of this fabric, and this was kind of just a chunk that was left over, and I thought, aha, I'm gonna find a bee project to do on this. So it was 25 count oatmeal floba. And this is what I stitched on it. See if I can hold all this up. So that's that. And Marge says right in her chart that the charm is not guaranteed to be the same. Doesn't bother me. I mean, the charm is really cute on the front, but this is really cute too. It's very three-dimensional. And I used one strand of DMC floss that was kind of the color of the oatmeal in the fabric to do the top of the charm, so the silver was less noticeable. And that was just like 2 short evenings and maybe an hour of extra little work. Oh, the only thing else I did, there's a beige color in the wing, and then she has it backstitched, but she says nowhere on the pattern what the backstitching is. It looks like gray to me, and I thought, you know, I don't know, I kind of like the chunky, simple prim look of this, and I didn't really want to backstitch. So let me show this to you again. Here, I'll just show it up like this. I'll just show you again. So instead of doing the beige next to the white in the wing, I just did gray, and then I didn't backstitch it, and I think it looks great. So I don't really know how I'm going to finish it. My framer always teases me, I'll frame it, and I go, I know you can frame it, but I kind of like to sometimes do something different, and then things sit around forever and I don't do it, and then she goes, come on, give it to me. So I think I'll just look through my selection of possible alternative finishes and see if because I know I bought some unfinished wood B-shaped or B-skep shaped things at Joann's and Michael's in the past couple years. So maybe I'll see if I can find something to finish it. But anyway, that is a finished stitching. All right, then I thought that I would show some Patriotic because July is approaching quickly and my niece is getting married the weekend of July 9th, but I'm going to be gone for most of the preceding week because it's a destination location and there's a lot of other activities. So I didn't want all my Patriotic stitching to be shown after the 4th. So I'll maybe talk about these models next week. But my vintage stitch, I took off the wall at home. I was in my office and I looked up on the wall and said, hey, I think I'll take that. I see a little, I think that's a speck of like glue or something. Anyway, this is a homespun elegance. It was from a leaflet that had 4 designs in it. It was called Miniature Samplers 5. And the metal buttons were also from Sandra. Some of those are still available if you check her Etsy shop. We still have some in the shop. I don't think we have stars. But anyway, I did check her website to make sure I could give you the most current information. And that chart is available as a download in her Etsy shop, Homespun Elegance. Sandra Sullivan is her name, but I think if you put Homespun Elegance in it, it went right to it. So anyway, oh, and she also made the frame, although this is not available anymore, but she was famous for doing a lot of grained and other decorated frames to go with her samplers, and I missed that. I really liked the frames, and I'm glad that I had grabbed some. You know, you never know when a designer's going to stop doing something, or the materials get difficult to get, or you lose a staff member that was doing that work for you, or whatever. So I'm glad I have this. I've always really liked it. It was a very quick stitch. So Homespun Elegance, Miniature Samplers 5. All right. Then as long as we're showing stitching, I will show you the last 2 things that my framer brought in. This is Winter ABCs from Little House Needleworks. Let me see if I can kind of show it, yeah, diagonally so you can see the whole thing. But it's really pretty on the pale green fabric, and I like the little fillet inside. The frame is really interesting. So that's Winter ABCs. And the other one she brought in recently, oops, I forgot where I was organized, I just forgot where I put it. This is from Heart and Hand, needle art, and this is called Big Hearted Tiny Town. And I'll let you have a good look of the fabric. I think she used the color that it called for, which is fawn. This looks like Lugana. I did not have this, so she either had it in her stash or she bought it from the other store where she does framing. But anyway, I love the pink. Now this isn't a fillet, this is actually a second frame inside, but I love the pink. And I love kind of the more neutral outer frame, so the pink is not too obnoxious. It's not an obnoxious color, but you know what I mean. Sometimes a color is just not, it's just not in your house, or it's just not your favorite color, but yet you really like the design. So I just think having a neutral frame on the outside still keeps the whole thing usable in a grouping, and still goes with all your stuff. So that's what the chart looks like. She also shows all of the designs in the Tiny Town series as a drum. So I think she started off with the Christmas one. Christmas Tiny Town. And then came the Big Hearted. And then Patriotic Tiny Town, which I'm pretty sure my framer's also going to do this one. I'm going to do this one too. I love it, and I'm like, will I be brave enough to try it as a drum? I guess you don't have to decide till you're done, right? And then, as I'm going to talk about new merchandise that came, this was the only chart on her last automatic in May, Blooming Tiny Town. So, show it to you sideways. You've probably already seen it on social media, but I thought I would at least show you some charts. That's that. Okay, so you've seen everything from Market already. I'm not going to go back that far. I'm just going to show you a few of the series that are still going on or that just started, and some of the last automatics that I got. So Amy Brecken Designs has a new sal called Batty, and she calls it a 3-part sal, but that's because you get 2 designs each time. So this is the first one, and I think usually in these sales she starts with the writing. So I'm pretty sure this first one just has the writing. Yeah, and then the second one is the ghost. I don't have the fabric yet. Some people are using substitutes. It calls for 20 count Peoria purple. I have 30 on order because a lot of my people like to use 28 or 30, and I do have a few that like to use 14. So hopefully that fabric won't be too much longer in coming. Then Country Cottage Needleworks has a series called Nutcracker Village, and I might have already shown you Claire and the Prince, because I think that came before Christmas, but that was number 1. Sugar Plums Sweet Shop was number 2. Chinese Tea Room was the 3rd. Russian Peppermint Shop was next. Snow Queen's Ice Cream Parlor. Mother Ginger's Candy Store. And then the one that just came was Merliton's Music Store. So those are still available and still coming. I think there's 11 in that series. Then Little House started one called Fall on the Farm, and number 6 should be coming next week. But this was number 1. Let's see, Farm Fresh, The Old Farmhouse. Oh, sorry. These are 7, and so were the Country Cottage and the Batty. They're $10 each, and they include whatever embellishments or buttons are needed. Okay, number 3 was No Crows Allowed. Obviously, any of these would stand alone, but if you want to do them all in one, you can see how to do that on her website. Pick Your Own was number 4. Number 5, Changing Leaves. This would be cute as a pincushion too. All right, and number 6 is something about moo, moo, moo. Now I can't remember. Something to do with a cow. Okay, then we had some autos. These just came. This is Annie B's folk art. Be Sweet. And I really want to do this. I think I might do this on 25 count ivory or antique white Lugana and do it as a bigger pillow, but I'm not sure. I'm trying to switch up my themes, make sure I'm kind of covering all bases here. So I don't know, but I just, when I saw this in my email that the automatic was coming, I'm like, that is so me, the Patriotic and the bees together. So I love that. Be Sweet. And then red work pears. Anyone who likes red samplers? Oh my gosh, they're so cute. But they also look good just in a bowl like that or in a tiered tray. Hands-on Design had 3 new ones. Land of the Free, Home of the Brave. And this was based on original artwork. And honest to goodness, I thought I had looked this up, but I forgot to look up the designer's name. But she's got information inside the chart about that. But I think that's really cool the way the artist made a flag out of the writing. So that's on my to-do list someday. Life is Just. And, oh, I forgot to move it. I can't show you because the chart's on the back, but there's a little thread card, and you get the cherry charms with it. And Summer Basket has all 3 designs in there. Those are really cute. I love the pillows. I need to get back to sewing. I haven't sewn in so long. Probably not going to happen anytime soon, but then Primrose Cottage Stitches, Firework Kisses, and you know I want to do one of these, but I already did a primrose, so I got to give another designer some love here. Established 1776, Land That I Love, Liberty and Love, United We Stand, and these are all 5. These little ones are all 5. And then, let's see, wasn't there a bigger one? I'm sorry, the one that folds is $6.50. The rest of them were 5. Then 3 more in the 9-patch series. So we've got July and August with the bees. Yes. And September. All right, Scissor Tail. The last one that came was Sewing Bees. And that's $11.50, and it includes the little purple buttons. And the one that just came this week is Freedom for All. And those were both 10. And I believe this is the next one I'm going to start because this is a different designer than the other 4 I've been working on. And I'm contemplating whether I actually want red on that because the red in the border is the only thing that's red. But if I'm going to use, this was the only similar pins that I had from Jabco, but if I'm going to do something similar like that, I'll pick the red that's in the pin so that at least it kind of goes with that or the flag or whatever I get. So anyway, I think I'd, even if it's not a pin cushion, I think I would stick the pins in it as part of the decoration. All right, last but not least, Stitching with the Housewives, because you know I always do things alphabetically. All Jarred Up, she has Hello America. Back Up the Truck series, Proud to be an American. The Calendar Crates June with strawberries. This is the last one in that series. And then the next series that starts is her Month to Month. Wreath Swap 2, which includes July through December. And the Up on a Pedestal series has Berry Bakery. Alrighty, so those are just the new charts I'm going to show you. And then real quick, you know what? I'm going to save that for next time. Okay, I am going to show you a couple sweet things that I got. Some stitchy kindness. First of all, I should say thanks to really everybody who reached out through Facebook or Instagram or private message or email and phone calls. I got several phone calls. Just people wondering where I was and if I was okay because they hadn't heard the story. A lot of people are not on Facebook anymore, and so I think that's where I put most of my information, and then also in my newsletter. But people just had the nicest things to say. Like, I felt really guilty that I had gone so long without making a video, but I never thought that people really like they really cared about me personally. Is that crazy? Anyway, I just felt guilty as a shop that I hadn't been producing them, and it was really sweet to hear all the kind things that people were saying. I don't want to mention names because I know I'm going to forget people, but they just said the nicest things. So anyway, I'm doing well. My arm only hurts when I do my exercises, so it's all good. But I did get one really sweet gift early on. This is from Nancy G in New York, and she sent this really cute. I think she was in Florida at the time. Maybe she goes to Florida for the winter. But anyway, this really cats and dogs on the beach. And she sent me, I am a reader. Even though I read a lot on my iPad, I still do read other things like cookbooks. But she sent me this magnetic bookmark. And it's so clever. And she said she saw the bee and thought of me. And on the back, it says John 14:27. And that meant a whole lot to me at the time that I got it because I was anxious about things. So the verse says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." And let me tell you that I pretty much freaked out every time my husband had to walk the dogs in the snow and ice. Actually, in fact, the first weekend that it snowed a lot, I was like, thank you, Lord, that it snowed. Because I feel like when there's a lot of snow, you're going to not hurt yourself as bad if you fall, or it's snow, not ice. I guess that's also what I was thinking. But I freaked out. I prayed every time he walked the dogs. I'm like, Lord, we can't have both of us with physical ailments here. Who would take care of the dogs? So that really meant something. The verse really meant something to me at the time. The other thing that was also a complete surprise was from a designer that I've met, and I've had her trunk show, but we haven't had really that many dealings. And so this just came out of the blue. It was just so surprising and so sweet. So this is from Karen McEwen from Meridian Designs. And she had heard from a customer / friend, Lori C. Hi, Lori. She had heard from her about my troubles, and so she decided to do this. And she wrote this letter. "Dear Shelly, I'm so sorry you were unable to go to the Nashville Needlework Market this year. I was looking forward to seeing you, and I'm sure you were sad to miss out on all the fun and new goodies." Yes, I was. "I've sent along a few of my newest charts as a get well soon sort of gift. I hope you're nearly all healed up and getting the shop fully up and running again." And she sent me charts. And so she sent me one each of, I think, her latest charts that she showed at market, which I didn't even order them because I was trying so hard to not order a lot because I had been closed and I was still trying to catch up financially. So I don't know, that it was just such a nice surprise. So anyway, I'm gonna give 4 charts away today. I thought about giving them all to the same person, but the same person may not need or want all of them. So I think I'll just do 4 different people since I've been away for so long. So the first one is Baby Shower Cupcake. And you can just say something about baby. Isn't that cute? Looks like a pacifier. And then there's a lemon blueberry cupcake. So just say lemon or blueberry. Chocolate bunny. Sorry, because this was before Easter. But you would have plenty. Oh, I just noticed that somebody chomped his ear. Plenty of time to do it for next Easter. So just say chocolate or bunny, whatever. And then the last one is a really sweet one called Wedding Confections that are bisque cornus on top of each other to look like a wedding cake. So if anyone else has a wedding in the family like I do, that might be kind of a cool thing to give, especially if the person is a stitcher. So just use those 4 words anywhere in your comment, and I'll give those away next week. And I'm happy to be back, and I think it's going to be every Sunday from now on, with the possibility of the weekend of July, the first and second weekends in July, I might be tied up, so I might have something pre-videoed to show you. So, all right, thanks for watching. Thanks for everything. Bye.